Hello everyone, I'm Jesus and welcome to the next episode of the Road to Old School MTG. Here we have one of the semifinal games for the Atlantic, Old School Atlantic Goblin Hero Cup tournament. This tournament was held at Dave's Time Warp in Cedar Grove, New Jersey. It was a charity tournament, and now we are here in the semifinals. After this, the finals should be commentated by Timmy Talks. We have Lee on the left, Baron Nick on the right. Before we start with the games, let's look at their decks, starting with Lee. So he has a LionDibBolt deck. You have early aggression in the 4 Javelineers, 4 Lions, the 4 Dibs, and of course you have your 12 burn spells, 4 Lightning Bolts, 4 Chain Lightnings, 4 Psionic Blasts. He has 4 Disenchants for just whatever comes up. And for drawing, of course, the Ancestral, but you also have your Time Twister and Wheel of Fortune. So it's a good way to replenish your hand and hopefully get a couple more burn spells to finish off the game. On the sideboard, it's pretty well-rounded. There's a lot of different things for a lot of different situations. I see, so red and blue Elemental Blast, those are pretty interchangeable and depending on what opponent you face. I see 2 Orders of Late Burst. Those could be good against either mono black decks or decks that have the Abyss. 1 COP red, 1 COP black, and then 2 Black Vice, I believe. Those can be good against control type decks. So this is pretty standard LionDibBolt deck. So now going into Baron Nick's deck. So this deck is called Sneaky Monolith. Look at the main deck here. Just looking at it, you can see it's more of a mid-range deck. The aggression doesn't really start until turn 3, right? If you just play lands, you have 3 Dibs, you have 4 Hypnotic Specters, you have 1 Gwendolyn, and whoa, you got 4 Jusum Jins. That's pretty cool to see. And then you have a lot of X-Spells to Disintegrates, 1 Fireball. The Disintegrates must be there to just counteract, especially against Sedge Troll and any Disco Troll decks or any type of decks with that kind of a game plan. Then you have your usual restricted cards: Ancestral, Wheel of Fortune, Time Twister, Brain Geyser, Time Walk, and all the other good stuff. See a Mind Twist there as well, of course. There's a little bit of ramp. You have 2 Flowers, the Soul Ring, and then you do have 2 Dark Rituals. But where this deck gets its namesake from is, if you look at the sideboard, this is a transformational sideboard. So I'm sure we'll see this in the upcoming games, but the game plan is for the deck to basically have a different win con once you make this swap. So now it turns into a combo deck. You have the combo of Power Artifact and Basalt Monolith. That gives you infinite mana. He already had the X spells in the main deck for the win con. So he had already the Disintegrates, the Fireball, even the Brain Geyser can be a win con because you can make your opponent draw more cards than they have in their deck. That's also an automatic win. In addition, you have 1 Rocket Launcher. So that's another way to get a win con, especially if an opponent puts in a COP red against you, then doesn't matter how much damage you do to them. Actually, yeah, it wouldn't matter then, yeah, because you can only cast the spell once, the burn spell once, and then they just, once per card. But with the Rocket Launcher, you can shoot them multiple times if need be, in different blasts. And of course, unless they have a COP artifacts, which is extremely rare, then that's a great way to get around any COP reds, right? So that's pretty cool to see. So we'll be seeing that, I'm sure, in these games. So before we start, though, I do want to mention that there is a lot of card drawing spells that are going to be happening. Also, the guys here are pretty cool in terms of showing their hands and showing the cards that they draw, showing it up towards the camera, right? So if you guys want to see what they draw, since they're nice enough to show us their hands, I suggest you pause and look at their hands and then keep playing the video. I was considering pausing myself and then doing a zooming on the hands and so forth, but heads up, there's so much card drawing in this game that I'm like, okay, nah, I'm not even gonna go through the trouble. I'm just gonna focus on the game, right? But if you want to do that, that's a heads up. You may want to pause if you want to take a peek at their hands. All right, so now we are starting with game 1. So we do have the life counter on the top. There we go. So you can pause there if you want. So the guys are pretty nice to take the time to show us their hands. So here, you see, I already see 2 Psionic Blasts, some lands, Mox for Lee's side, so he's going first. Mox, Tundra, Ancestor turn 1. So he had 4 cards in hand, and now he's drawing it again. So he's drawing back up to 7 with that Ancestral. If he instead got a different Mox mate, he could have had a follow-up spell. So Baron just goes with Badlands and pass the rest, so that's a big difference in terms of what Lee did to what Baron did. But they both have similar spells. Baron has an Ancestor as well. Alright, so Plateau, Black Lotus. So we are proxy friendly here. So taps for a Javelineer, but passes, so nothing to use that Black Lotus on. So Baron casts a Fellward, Lee disenchants it end of turn, just to avoid any ramp. Attacks for 1, 19. So the Javelineer still has the token, so I think at least getting a counter for it right now. So that was an attack, nothing else though so far. Taps a red. Does Chain Lightning straight to the face, I guess, since he's tapped out, so that way it doesn't get bounced back to Lee. So he has to do it right now. Seed of Brass, taps it, takes a damage, 3 mana for a hippie. And then he just wasted already the chain. But honestly, that's the game plan of this deck, to kill the oppositional creatures and then come in for attacks. But then he had to Side Blast instead the hippie, but that's still better than letting it through. So, and then he came in for 1 attack. And of course he took 2 damage from the Side Blast Lee. Baron hits the City of Brass again, but he gets a Jusam. I always love seeing a Jusam. But Baron's at 13 though, right? So now he's going to start getting hit for 1 damage in upkeep. Or maybe not. Yep, so Lee's using the other Side Blast and then uses the counter from the Javelineer to finish off the... And then I guess Lee wanted to do it while he was tapped out to prevent any counter spelling type of stuff. Right, so I believe a land, Fellward, and then another hippie. Okay, Dib, he's now just deciding what mana to use. Alright, 3 mana for the Dib. Passes. So Baron took a damage here. I'm not sure why. So I think this was a mistake. So hopefully that 1 damage doesn't get is the game doesn't get changed by that 1 damage. So Lee had to pop the Lotus to Side Blast, so he took 2 damage from the Side Blast. He's at 14. Baron is at 12, although I believe he should be at 13. Maybe he thought he still had his Jusam in play. I don't know. Tax 11. Mox. Taps the City of Brass. 10. Green. And then recast the Juzong. Disenchants the forward end of turn. Time Walk. So the Time Walk is already on this effect. Okay, and then he wheels. So he had no cards in hand. Baron only had one Mind Twist, but okay, so let's see. So if you guys want to pause, I see 2 dibs, some lands. I see a hippie, a dib for Baron, a disintegrate. Okay, he plays a land. But here there's a mistake that, yeah, Lee forgot about his Time Walk that he put. So they're going to tap again. Baron's going to get his life back. So yeah, there was so much stuff happening that... Okay, so now this is Lee's Time Walk turn. He drew and then he used the Loa to draw an additional card. Soul Ring. So you may be tempted to kind of like keep your hand at 6 or 7. But depends, right? So, I mean, Baron does have a Juzam in play, right? So you can't really wait it out too much. So Lee had 2 dibs, I believe, in hand. So he could play both of them. And then double block, and then he would only lose 1 of the dibs. Unless, of course, there's some kind of a... He doesn't know that Baron has a disintegrate in hand. Plays a Tundra, so I guess, yeah, he's not keeping his hand high. He's playing as much as he can to be aggressive as possible. Chaos Orb. So now, let's see if he pops it now. Okay, he's not taking a chance. He's popping it now while Baron's still mostly tapped out. Nice. Comes in for 1 damage. So yeah, Lee puts the damage for him. Alright, so now it's Baron's turn. Oh, now he drew a Wheel of Fortune, right? I told you guys this game has a ridiculous amount of drawing spells. So you'll be pausing quite a bit. Alright, so place a land, place a Soul Ring. 3 mana. 4, 5. He's disintegrating the dib, so remove from play. Ooh, he's tapping his city. 3 mana for a dib. Okay. Alright. And then Lee decided to go aggressive. So he's now well below 7. Actually, he was at 4, so now he's at 5. So actually that's not super below, but if you still have hopes of using the law, you wouldn't be playing lands. So here, play the land, a Volcanic Island, plus now he plays his own dip. So the dips are canceling themselves out, but of course, the Baron will die first. So he blocks, and then he's changed the Baron's dip. Draws. Land. So I see, of course, he still has the wheel. I see a hippie in hand, so he's casting the hippie. See a City of Brass. He may not want to, especially if he's doing a wheel. He's gonna very likely to get lands anyway. So yeah, then he wheels. So Lee is responding, lightning bolting the hippie, and now everybody draws 7 again. So both guys wheeled Ooh, Gwendolyn, Power Sync. Didn't even see Lee's hand. Like I said, pause the videos if you wanted to take a peek. All right, so Baron has to do something because Lee's gonna come in for 5, but he doesn't have much mana left. Oof! Double hippies. I mean, double dark rituals. What I'm talking about. Okay, and then so he's drawing 5 cards with the Brain Geyser for 5, but now he's almost tapped out. But okay, Mox has helped that situation. I see a mana drain, Gwendolyn, but that kind of stuff you know that's reactive. He cannot kill the dib right now, I don't think. He can, although counterspell anything that's gonna finish him off, right? Because he's not dead yet. Okay, Baron passes, but Lee's doing a Loa end of turn. Okay, so Lee forgot about the 1 damage from his own dib, right? So both guys are 1 off. Lee should be at 13, Baron should be at 9. Okay, oh, there you go, Lee caught it. So now, attacking 5, ooh, 3. And then, yep, there we go. So he mana drained that. And then Lee thought he had 2 lightning bolts, but he did not. Okay. So like I said, I think Baron should be 1 up higher. So we'll see if... Okay. Lee drew from the Law a Chain Lightning, which drops him exactly at 0. Like I said, he would have been at 1, but honestly, I think no matter what, Lee had it anyway. Plus, I could be wrong about the 1 life thing. But either way, yeah, like being at 1 against the burn deck is not wise, if you can avoid it, of course. All right, so yeah, that was a pretty intense game. Plus, like I mentioned, there was a lot of card drawing spells. Heads up, that is not the last time that will happen. So now we're going into game 2. So last one, neither guys of the guys cyborg mulligan. I don't think they mulligan in this one as well. So here once again. So okay, so there we can see some of the changes. So we see a rocket launcher. I think that's it. Oh no, and the basalt monolith, right? So we already see some of the components of the change of the cyborg transformational change. Okay, lead one as well. Like I said, pause if you want to see. All right, Baron goes Island, Soul Ring, Felwar. Lee goes, so draws for turn. Plateau, Lion, Baron. Land, Volcanic Island. So 2, 3, 4, 5 mana already. So let's see if we see any creatures from Baron, because maybe his deck changes to basically creatureless. I think he had a Guardian Beast in the sideboard, but that's still, you know, very control aspects to it, right? All right, so Baron casts the Basalt Monolith, but then he still has mana to disintegrate the line for 1. Those lines can come in for quite a bit if they don't get dealt with. Lee plays a city, Soul Ring, and then taps for 1 damage from the city for blue for a dib. So nice. Turn 2 from Lee. Lee's at 19. Alright, Baron goes another Volcanic, I believe. Rocket Launcher, man, he is 1 card away from winning. Oh, no, my mistake. He just used the X-Spell on the Lion, right? So he still now has to get another X-Spell. And he still has to get the Power Artifact card. So Baron passes, Lee takes a damage from the dip, plays a Factory, coming in for 3. 17 to Baron. Passes. So yeah, Lee's explaining asking for, I think, clarification on the rocket launch. All right, so Baron plays off his hand, right? So he's not even bluffing. Played a land and a mox. Lee's turn now. He took a damage. He's attacking with the dip. Another 3 damage. I'm surprised he didn't attack with the factory. So he took another damage for a second dip. He definitely could have. Okay, nice. So Baron has enough to hit for 4 to 1 dip at the end of turn. So there is a definitely so the way the rocket launcher is worded is, I believe, at the beginning of the end step it gets destroyed if it was used, but if you use it after the beginning of the end step, so definitely some lawyering going on there, but basically you can use it twice if you time it right. And then he used it twice to get rid of both dips. That's pretty good. So now Lee is activating the artifact coming in. He thought he could come in with his own order, but like he forgot about the summoning sickness. You get excited every now and then. All right, so Baron's already at 11, right? So he came in for 2, and then he pumped up the factor, so that was 3 damage right there. And he has an order already coming in for next turn. Ooh, okay, so demonic tutor, yep. And then he still has a mana floating from the Soul Ring. So he's going to, so once again, there's a draw 7 spell. So the reason why Baron is still shuffling is because he's still shuffling from when he did the demonic tutor. He just wanted to speed it up, and then he told him that he was getting the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so let's see if he gets the components. So, okay, so a lot of burn from Lee. I see some weenies. I don't think Baron has. Okay, does he have an X spell? So he has that. Ooh, he mind twisted him for 7. That helps though. So Baron's at 11. He can definitely take some hits. He'll get hit for 6 next turn, but then he will need to win the turn after that. Okay, takes a damage. So he has a recall in hand. So he's trying to do the math here. Yeah, he almost was able to kill him with this turn. He was 1 red away. So he's... Oh no, there we go. Yeah, so wait. Okay, I think the rocket launcher you cannot use until 1 ball. Until it comes back to your turn, I believe. Because he could have just killed him right now. Because he recalled and he brought back the factor. He brought back an X spell. The disintegrate. He cast the rocket launcher because he has infinite mana. He can do whatever he wants. That's generic mana. If it wasn't for the stipulation on the rocket launcher, he would have won that turn. But then Lee knows he can't do 11 damage during his turn. So yeah, so that was pretty cool. We got to see the combo, and like I was mentioning, like I imagine that Baron was catching a lot of people with their pants down there. It's just it kind of comes out of nowhere. So going into game 3 now. So Lee won the first, Baron won the second. So now I'm curious if Baron will stick to the same transformational cyborg change that he did. It's a pause here, guys, if you want to see. Or if it's kind of a hybrid, because I've done the transformational cyborg thing before. And basically, I kind of did it so that way, game 1, you have your main deck game plan. Then game 2, you do your transformational cyborg, but then game 3, you do a hybrid. So that's the way I did it. Okay, oof. Lee went with a land, Mox, Lightning Bolt, and then Wheel. And then Baron discards his whole hand. Of course, he's going to draw 7, but when you first draw your cards, of course, right at the beginning of the game, you can choose to mulligan. But the game's already started. Now he cannot choose to do that. Whatever he got from both players. But you know, it's definitely a bit more trickier for Baron. All right, so Lee did a Soul Ring and a Chaos Orb to follow up. Baron, now this is turn 1 for Baron. And he did a Badlands and a Mox. Lee's turn now. Okay, yeah. So I was thinking, why is Baron at 17? I forgot. Lee Lightning Bolted him before he wheeled, since he knew he was gonna lose that card anyway. So there's a lot of mana here. Disenchant's nice to slow him down. Maybe I would have kept that. Wow. Turn 1. Wheel. Turn 2. Time Twister. But of course, right, both players draw their hand, draw 7, right? But look at Lee, what Lee has in play as opposed to Baron, right? So he has 2 lands, 2 ramp, and a Chaos Orb. If he wants, he can just Chaos Orb that land away that he has right now. If he draws a Mox, and honestly, that's something that I would do. Of course, you're very likely to get, you know, more lands, of course. But you lose your land drop, and you're still behind. So I'd be tempted to do that. Okay, so he got a Black Lotus, but he doesn't want to use it to pop the Chaos Orb. Okay, Baron is finally turn 2. So much has happened by turn 2. So Baron just draws a land, Mox, but then nothing much else. So he has I forget the name of that blue card that basically you sacrifice 1 artifact to get another artifact from your deck, but you still gotta pay the mana difference. So he already has a Mox in place, so he can use that transmute artifact to get his pieces. But that's the only piece that I see from Baron. He doesn't have an X spell, and he doesn't have the power artifact either. Lee disenchants. Lee is now, so there we go, using the Chaos Orb, on Baron's Volcanic Island. So yeah, he's dropping his ramp down. Okay. You definitely could make the case, and I would for Lee to hold off on the disenchants and wait until Baron plays a Basalt Monolith, right? Or even better, wait until Baron plays the power artifact on the Basalt Monolith, then you destroy it. But he knows the Baron plays counter magic, right? They played a land, I believe, Chain Lightning, Baron's at 14. So even though there was a lot of stuff, I'm surprised like Lee has not really gotten creatures. Plays a Mox, plays a land, but that's it. Wow, yeah, there's no creatures. Okay, oof, Baron has 2 X spells. Is that a... Okay. So the Transmute artifact can get the Basalt Monolith, but he still needs the power artifact. I think he has a recall. So if it gets disenchanted or something, he could get it back. Okay, Time Walk. That's a great card to set up the combo. There's no counter magic either. So, but he does have X spell. So if Lee plays a creature, wow, they're just passing. Well, that's whoa. Okay, there it is. Oh no, he got the Basalt Monolith, but he still does not have the transmute. The power artifact. the transmute artifact could have gotten the basalt, right? So he needs the transmute artifact more. Is that it in his hand? No, that's a time walk. Yeah, okay, time walk. So yeah, we're getting a really good look at Baron's hand here. He could cast the basalt, cast the time walk, hope that he gets the power artifact next turn. But he also has to hope that Lee doesn't have another disenchant or something like that. He already played. He has one. He's played another one, but then it got time twisted back in. Okay, that's strong. He has a power sink. But Lee has a lot of mana because he hasn't been getting much creatures. I guess Lee sideboarded out a lot of his creatures. Probably he's putting a blue elemental blast to counter the expels. Ooh, but Baron just got the rocket launcher. That's a great way to get around blue elemental blast or COP, right? So he's getting the cards. He's literally just needs the power artifact, and then he needs to protect the combo. But he has a time walk, which is a great way to protect the combo as well, because you don't have to commit fully to the combo. You can play part of it, time walk, see what the opponent does, and then on your second turn finish off playing the combo with hopefully more mana open to play a power sink. Okay, he's doing 4. Ooh, he's passing the rocket launcher already. So I think he's okay. He knows he has disintegrates, right? So disintegrates you can't pre-play, right? You can only play it when you're casting it and then when you're using it. So I think he's trying to bait him to disenchanting it, and then he takes the bait. Baron has some mana open. He's not gonna use that to do 1 damage. He wants to bluff that he has a counter spell or something. Okay, finally, wow. Despite how crazy and how much drawn was in this game, this third game, I think this is the first creature from Lee. Or maybe the second one, but he's gone whole turns without much action going on. So Baron goes with land, Soul Ring. Okay, disintegrates. So here we see, does Lee have a blue elemental blast so that way, because Baron's at 14, right? So it's decently low, not super low, but once you get a dip there, now we're talking. I think but he's like, I guess Lee could also be afraid that he's leaving himself open for something else if he does that. Okay, so Baron has a Wheel of Fortune. So okay, he passes. I mean, his hand is good, so he doesn't really want to get rid of it. So he still has the Basalt Monolith. So he could cast that. And then if he gets destroyed, he can, next turn, he can, if he then follows it up with a Time Walk, he can transmute artifact one of his other artifacts to get another Basalt into play. And then he can wheel and hope that he gets something to finish up the game. So he would already have the Basalt out in play. Hopefully he gets another Expel. So I don't know if he takes the chance. So Lee has a okay. Ooh, so he is using the Time Walk. Okay. So yeah, yep. So he did use the Right Elemental Blast, but he used it on the Time Walk. Unless I'm seeing like stuff being done, I'm not sure I would have done that. But he's afraid that if he lets it through, then Baron's gonna follow up with other stuff, right? So I definitely see the logic. Okay, recalls for 2 maybe. Okay. Okay, takes it. What happened here? Okay, recalls. He's getting his time walk back. So he's discarded the transmute artifact. I think he's still deciding. Is it for 1 or for 2? Is he casting the wheel after the recall? Okay, I'm not. Okay. All right, so Lee attacked with the factory. Okay, I think yeah, he recalled back the monolith. I'm not sure. Like when I do these recordings, I turn off the volume of the video, so hopefully it makes sense when the guy's audio is back on. But I'm not sure what happened there. All right, so he has the basalt. He has an X-Ball in hand. He still needs that power artifact. If it wasn't for that, he would have won quite a while ago. Maybe though. We do know Lee is playing with red elemental blast. Maybe he's also playing blue elemental blast. Well, I mean, red elemental blast will of course destroy the counter the power artifacts. But Baron's playing both red and blue, so maybe he added both of them. Okay, wheel. Because now, so yeah, he's taking the chance that he'll get a follow-up X spell. Lee looks like he's gonna counter it. Yep, he counters that. Okay, so he's checking. Lee has more lands, more mana than Baron's, because I think Baron would maybe use the power sink, because power sink also taps out the player, the opposing player. But Lee would win that power sink war. Yeah, Baron only has 2 spells, the power sink and the disintegrate. So his combo is he was really banking on that Wheel of Fortune to resolve. Now it's Lee's turn. He's animating, attacking. Baron's at 10. Lee plays a dip. Okay, so Baron's at 10. So Baron has 2 more turns because Lee can do 5 damage per turn. If he gets lucky enough, if he gets certain X spells, he may even be able to kill him faster than that. Or if Baron helps him out. Okay. Okay, so he is power sinking the dib. Oh, he had 3 lightning bolts in hand. Whoa. He wasn't able to kill him because Baron was at 10. But yeah. Baron had to tap his own Sea of Brasses to get the mana for the power sink. You can still react to the power sink. Before you couldn't, because I think as an interrupt, it had to be dealt with right on the spot. I think it's called split second now, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong. But either way, now you still can react to it like any other spell, right? It's basically it's an instant. And Lee's mana was still not tapped from the power sink, and then Baron got low enough to be finished off by 3 freaking lightning bolts. Wow. Yeah. So I think Lee's asking him like, okay, like, so yeah, like Baron went completely creatureless other than the 1 soul Guardian Beast, because you have a combo that you can Guardian Beast and then Chaos Orb, and with the Power Monolith combo, you can just cast those things for free. Yeah. Okay, so he kept the same game 2 plan intact for game 3, and honestly, he was so close for a good chunk of the game. He never got that final power artifact to finish things off. But wow, very awesome way to end the game. So Lee goes on to the final, and the finals will be commentated by Timmy Talks, hopefully. I will link to the finals in this video once that video is out on YouTube. But for all the way up to this point, watching my games and then watching this awesome semifinal games, I thank you guys for watching.